It's 5 o'clock in Pirate Country, and it's time to get pumped up with the P-Man. Hit the door and hit the road. 94.3 The Game is going to get you home, and the P-Man's not holding back.
Yes! Yes! Pirates win! Pirates win!
Bring on the Patrick Johnson Show on 94.3 The Game.
Holy mackerel! Oh, my goodness!
The flagship station of the ECU Pirates.
All right, Wednesday edition, Patrick Johnson Show. Thanks for being with us today. Nice to have you along on this hot day. I told you it was false fall, people. Not to fall for it last week, and many of you all did. And some of you even turned off the air conditioner, which is a terrible mistake anytime it's July or August, really at any time, to be quite honest. Because you wish that air conditioner were on now and you're taxing it. You got to keep it at a nice, even level. I'm just speaking from my own desires here. I have no scientific fact to back that up. But as far as I'm concerned, you're an American. You should be able to wear long pants anywhere, anytime you're indoors. Philip the Ref, I don't know what I'm talking about, Ref, because I
don't know what you're talking about either.
I think I'm trying to make it a little rough on you.
You are.
Because it's 111 where Pilkington is right now.
You're 10 degrees off, Patrick. It is 99 in the Interbanks Media Control Room, Studio 1A. It is hot as heck. And Brandon, our new intern, dressed to impress on the first day. He wore a tie, a button-down shirt, some nice slacks. He has since lost the tie. I told him that he was more than welcome to take it off. Here I clearly am in my ball cap and my 94.3 The Game T-shirt, as I got to go work Concert on the Commons after this. But at least there should be some breeze at Concert on the Commons. There's not much breeze.
There's no breeze.
In the Interbanks
There's no breeze in the
Studios.
control room. No. And then you're working in that same control room Buscemi works in, so it smells like garlic anyway. So I have without any airflow, I have to imagine that smell is just stagnant and permeating through said room.
Go easy on him. He ain't even here to defend himself.
Well, no, I'm speaking facts. Tell me where I'm telling a lie.
He does bring some exotic food in, but he eats pretty healthy. He eats a heck of a lot healthier than I do. I ate fast food today, but I was busy.
Well, look at you, very busy, Philip the Ref Pilkington. Philip mentioned Concert on the Common. Tell Me Lies, the Fleetwood Mac Tribute Act, is going to be performing at the Greenville Town Common, the Greenville Toyota Amphitheater. This was one of our Concert on the Common events that got rained out. All right.
That wasn't Coach Martin, was it?
No,
oh, okay.
Somebody else.
Don't say Coach Martin is bailing on us now.
No. Doug Martin's. In fact, we may just turn the whole thing over to Doug Martin.
That means I can take a nap in this hot room while Doug does the show.
All right, back to Tell Me Lies. Fleetwood Mac Tribute Band. They are performing at the Greenville Town Common and the Greenville Toyota Amphitheater. Coach Houston and some ECU players are going to be there to introduce the band. They'll have some giveaway items for you as well. So there's plenty of refreshments out there on the lawn. Lots of frothy beverages, soda beverages, but also lots of water. So you can head out to this ultra-hot event and enjoy some music to wrap up the summer and kick off the football season, which gets underway. Speaking of which, our Pirate Game Day Countdown. It is our Anson Belt and Buckle Pirate Game Day Countdown presented by Orthopedics East, 3 o'clock on Saturday. And we'll be there with myself, Philip the Ref Pilkington, and Joey Football in the tent between the Murphy Center and the Minges Coliseum. Gate 5 is what I was told on Monday, and it is the Playfly tent. So if you're there, come on by and say hello to us. No, a lot of people were asking, hey, you're going to be in the same spot you were last year. No, we're not. We're going to be in a different spot this year. So we do look forward to welcoming you there. I don't know what, and I just don't know. I don't know what the protocol is to get in. Is that an anybody can get in kind of thing, Pilk, or do you have to have a special pass or ticket? Because I frankly don't know.
I'm not sure. I want to say it might be Pirate Club members only. I'm not 100% sure, but I'll get confirmation and get it out.
All right. Well, hopefully some of our friends that do want to come by, we can work it out where they can come by and say
The
hello
good thing is
us.
to buy season tickets, you have to be a Pirate Club member. So if you're a season ticket holder, you should be in the okay. If not,
You should be in the.
if they're a close enough
clear.
friend, I'll sneak them in. I will do the dirty
Okay.
work. I'll bust through security, whatever's got to be done. Of course, I think Julia might be part of security. She is a D1 athlete. She's like 6'4", played volleyball at Michigan State. So I don't know if I can bust through her. She's probably tougher than
You
me.
can't bust through her. She's a lot
No.
tougher than you. I know.
Yeah, she's a lot
than you
tougher.
are. Couple of notes. So 3 o'clock will be our pregame on Saturday. You can listen to it if you're unable to be with us on 94.3 The Game. And the first year will be on the IBX Media app with that. So saw this news, Pilk. We talked about it briefly off air before we came on. Say goodbye to Zayden High. UNC reserve has been taken off the team and is out of school. UNC announced the commitment. You might remember, what was it, about 2 weeks ago of Zion Claude. I think that's how you pronounce his first name. Anyway, he played at Georgia Tech and had played some other places. I think he was at Western Carolina, Morehead State. Anyway, it seemed like a bit of a odd addition at the time, given some of the other players that the Tar Heels have on their roster. But now that mystery's been solved because Zayden High has been removed from UNC's roster, and there are reports he's no longer enrolled in the institution. Multiple sources said High's status has been in limbo for much of the offseason due to an off-court matter. The resolution for the situation ultimately was that he essentially serve a suspension from the school and sit out the coming season. No official word that I've seen on what the off-court matter is. Pilk, is that published anywhere, or is that just message board fodder? Because I don't want to get sued.
Yeah, so I saw it on some Twitter accounts. I don't know. I didn't see any verification on those Twitter. It wasn't like
Back
Wojo
off
or
of it
anybody
then.
big time.
Yes.
Yeah.
We do know this. It is not academics because they don't care about academics at the University north of Carrboro. Academics are not a big sitch there in the People's Republic of Chapel Hill, despite what they'll tell you. So this obviously, if it's an off-court matter, would lead one to believe that perhaps some legalities are involved some way. But we don't know. We just know he's no longer enrolled at the school and serving a suspension. And I think there's the smart money would be there's no chance he's back on that campus again, enrolled in class or playing on the basketball team. But crazier stuff has happened. So there you go. That's one of the in-state things that will get buried, and you will not see it anywhere from the Triangle Sports Media over the next couple of days because they're excited about the start of the college football season. And so that'll be the dominant story on the headlines. We've got games starting tomorrow at Winston-Salem. Wake Forest hosting A&T. You got State hosting Western Carolina. You got Carolina traveling to Minnesota. And that game will be on 94.1. Also tomorrow, who does Rose play, Pilk? Rose High football tomorrow on 102.7 FM. And that'll be at 6:50. They'll come on. Croft and RV will have coverage for you. Pilk, do we know what time that'll be?
I mean,
or what game that'll be? Excuse me, who the opponent will be?
JH Rose Varsity Football. They will be taking on Northeastern.
So there you go. Out of Elizabeth City, Northeastern is who they will play tomorrow. Washington football will be on 94.3 The Game Friday at 6:45. Let's see. Tomorrow on the program. Well, note, we are going to be on at 4 o'clock tomorrow. Every Thursday from here on out, we're going to be on at 4 p.m., and that will include tomorrow. We have tomorrow Brian North from the Blitz on WCTI News 12 and Justin Bear with ECU Sports Marketing to talk about some of the things you need to know as far as things going on around the stadium this year. Other events that will be going on connected to the football game on Saturday, parking, all of that good stuff. So Justin Bear will be on with us tomorrow to talk about that as well. And we'll be on again at 4 o'clock tomorrow here on 94.3 The Game and our video platforms and the IBX Media app. We are going to be followed by the Logan Zone, Steve Logan tomorrow, 5 until 7. You can listen to that here on 94.3 The Game, our sister station down along the coast, 96.3, Talk 96.3, and also the IBX Media app. Coach Logan will also be on video this year. So that's kind of the lineup for tomorrow. We're going to get Doug Martin here in a couple of minutes. Probably don't have time to hit some of this audio right now, at least in mass, do we, Pilk?
No, we
Coach
can
Martin
play
coming
a
up.
couple if you wanted, but
well, you were there, so what's the best of the bunch here?
actually, I due to timing, Dom was there, and I was back here making sure we started Igo's show on time. But Coach just signed on, so there is that side of things. So maybe we go ahead and get a break and get Coach on.
Let's take a break. I think, were you in charge of the air conditioning, Pilk? Is that what you were doing today? You were in charge of the AC?
If I was in charge of the AC, it'd be working a heck of a lot better than it being 99 still degrees inside the radio ranch.
We've got intern Brandon who wore a tie today, which was a huge mistake upon further review, so make sure he doesn't pass out. A little Fleetwood Mac going to break. The Fleetwood Mac tribute act, Tell Me Lies, performing at the Greenville Town Common at the Greenville Toyota Amphitheater at 6 o'clock. Coach Houston and some players will be there to kick things off with a pep rally style introduction for the band. So Mike Houston, you could head down there and win some prizes from the Pirate Club, who will also be down there, and other great giveaways that we'll have for you. You can also enter to win concert tickets. So there's a lot going on down at the Greenville Town Common for a free concert tonight and listening to a great tribute band to Fleetwood Mac. All right, we're going to talk to Doug Martin. Lots to get into with Coach. We'll get to some of that coordinator's audio later in the show. That's all coming your way. But right now, a timeout on the Patrick Johnson Show.
Acre Station Meat Farm, along with Lane Angus Beef, bring you Farm to Fork Beef.
Stock your freezers now with affordable beef boxes, just in time for the grilling season.
Farm to Fork Beef brings quality local beef to your family. From your traditional butcher shop, Acre Station Meat Farm. Come on down to Acre Station Meat Farm and find out why we're #1 in fresh cuts and friendly service.
Acre Station Meat Farm, Highway 32 North, Pinetown.
Living easy is the sound of children laughing as you make memories with neighbors and friends. It's the sound of nothing at all. It's the smell of the salt air. Hear the waters against the marsh grass. See the beauty of our coast. Bow Coast, located in Beaufort, North Carolina. Southern Living's best small town.
Pirate game days, there's nothing like them. The atmosphere, the tradition, the matchups, the magical finishes. Be a part of Pirate Game Days. Season tickets are as low as $115. Reserve your seat today to be a part of the experience of Pirate Game Days at Dottie Ficklin Stadium this fall.
This is about you. your family, and the health of all who live in Eastern North Carolina. This is about the transformation of a health system into something more powerful and more human, about creating new ways to treat disease and keep you well. This is about ECU Health, which is to say, it's really all about you. ECU Health. Minds, hearts, purpose.
Have you noticed he's in his own little happy hour? We're back to the Patrick Johnson Show on 94.3 The Game.
This is the Happy Hour program.
Here's the P-Man.
Okay, let's welcome in Doug Martin, one-time ECU offensive coordinator, Division I head coach with New Mexico State and Kent State, as Coach joins us from the hot Crystal Coast today. What is biting when it's this hot in August? When you go
Depends
fishing?
when the tide is. When the tide's in, there's a lot of redfish still biting. Yeah,
Okay.
about cut the flounder season out this year, so that's been a little bit tough. But the early morning you can get some trout, things like that going. So they're still biting.
All right. Are you taking the boat out? Has the boat been out?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. Just came
All
back.
right.
Just came back for this. Just came back for you.
Well, thanks, Coach. We really appreciate it. All right, I want to talk about ECU and Norfolk State some more, and I want to talk about the other matchups, a couple other matchups during week one. But I think a week 0 recap could be in order with you. I don't know how much you got to see. It was interesting. I was taking a look at I got to see the end of the Florida State-Georgia Tech game. And, boy, that was interesting from the standpoint that Tech just ran the ball very effectively against FSU. And then Florida State, with all of the bravado after being left off things last year, they come out, top 10 preseason hype, and lay an egg. So just your analysis of that. How good is Georgia Tech? Is Florida State overrated at this juncture? What do you think, Coach?
A couple of things, Patrick. First of all, Georgia Tech is a really well-coached football team, and they were last year too. But they do a great job, both sides of the ball. But offensively, they're a lot different than most offenses you see in college now. They play from under center quite a bit. They use a lot of shifts and motions and things like that, more of an NFL style and an old college style. It's really what we used to do when I was at East Carolina, with the tight end, using him as a fullback and moving up the line of scrimmage, and the things they do cause defenses a lot of problems. So they're not overrated. They're really good. And then Florida State knew that coming in. To me, the most interesting thing was what you and I talked about last week, transfer quarterbacks. And can you get one ready to play? And to me, the issue was Florida State couldn't. And, the quarterback they had, he played up and down at Clemson, right? He goes to Oregon State, and they do a great job with him. They put him in an offense that he could function in. It was a lot of play action passes, short things, got him running and doing the things he was good at. And all of a sudden, Florida State tried to make him a drop back passer again. He can't. And so, you got to me, the coach, that's on the coaching staff. You got to put that player in a position to succeed. And he cannot succeed being a drop back passer. So if that's the route they're going to go, they're going to have a hard season with him as their quarterback. Now, he can do other things to make you look really good, but being a drop back passer is not one of them. So that goes back to that transfer thing. I really believe whoever your quarterback coach is, that's the most important position on the field right now if you got transfer quarterbacks, and just about everybody does.
We're talking to Doug Martin here. There was also the New Mexico game where they paid $360,000 to Montana State, who came in and beat them. And a couple of interesting things from that game. One, the weather. Apparently they had this big shift in weather during the game, and the goalposts were moving. So you coached in that state. How wild is the weather in New Mexico? Because it seemed like, I don't know if this is common, if this was an uncommon situation, but I know they also got a lot of rain the night before that game.
Yeah, it's the wind out there that's really dramatic. In fact, in the spring, you literally have to practice in the mornings because that wind is going to blow starting at about 11 a.m. and it's going to blow till 4 p.m. and stop. But I mean, I'm talking 50-mile-an-hour winds now. I mean, it is some serious wind. And down where we were, it would kick all the dust up from the sand in the desert and cover the mountains. And that goes all spring and sometimes through August. And that's probably a little bit of what they got in that game. One of those wind currents came through there and started kicking things up. And it can be difficult, but it'll be gone here by the end of August, and then it'll just be beautiful out there for the rest of the year. But, New Mexico has struggled. They only had 70-something players on their whole team. And that's Bronco Mendenhall coming in there and creating a culture and changing things once it needed to be done. But it's going to take him another year, and which he always does this. His first year won't be very good, but I guarantee you his second year, they will be competitive. He's a really good coach, and he knows what he's doing.
That's pretty interesting. But boy, Montana State, how good of a team are they?
Good football program. Both those teams in Montana, you don't want to play either one of those. If you're first of all, that's bad scheduling on New Mexico's part. I mean, you don't want to play any team with a Dakota in their name. North Dakota State, South Dakota. You don't want to play the Dakotas. I'm telling you, those guys, they can play, man. They've got good players, and they beat 1A teams or FBS teams every year. And same thing with Montana and Montana State. You don't want to play those guys. That's not good scheduling on the part of New Mexico, especially the state of their program right now.
All right, let's delve into some of the Week 1 matchups, and we'll start with East Carolina and Norfolk State. Norfolk State, by the way, just mistakes, or what you could say really cost them against FAMU in that game.
Yeah, I think they look like they're improved from last year, but I mean, really talent-wise, this should not be a game. I mean, East Carolina's got a lot more talent than what Norfolk State does, and the depth is going to be an issue. If you watch the game, you saw Norfolk State's players having a lot of hard time with the weather, the heat. So I think conditioning will be a real big part in this, and obviously it's going to be hot there in Greenville, and East Carolina's got a lot of depth, and that'll take a toll on Norfolk State also. This game to me is really, East Carolina establishing an identity on offense. They already know what they are on defense. They've played great defense the last couple of years, and you have got the same coaches coming back. But offensively, East Carolina needs to at least come out of this game with a really good idea of what we can do, what we can't do. Is this going to be our identity for the year? Where are we going? If they can do that, then, they got a chance when they go to Old Dominion.
This is an offense that's going to have a little bit of Art Briles, a little bit of Mike Leach, Lane Kiffin. I think even some Seth Luttrell, Clay Helton, and then John David Baker with his own thoughts kind of sprinkled in. So, I mean, what are some things to look out for, I guess, with what this offense may be early on?
I think where East Carolina is, Patrick, it's two things. It's the quarterback play and it's the offensive line. And, you're not going to know a lot about either one coming out of this game because the talent level is going to be so different. The second game is really going to tell you because Old Dominion's, on par. They're not probably as talented as East Carolina either, but they're a group of 5 program that, is used to playing in those type of games. But, they got to get the quarterback thing solved. That guy's got to be able to run the offense for them and make plays. You can't just be a guy when you're a quarterback. You got to be a guy that can make plays, whether that's with your arm, with your legs, your mind, changing protection, changing plays, whatever you're going to be doing. And then just offensive line-wise, they've got to be a much more physical team than what they've been the last year especially. So, like I say, you'll know a little bit coming out of this game, but you're not going to know what you need to know until after that Old Dominion game.
One-time ECU offensive coordinator Doug Martin joining us here on the Patrick Johnson Show. So one thing that Mike Houston said he liked about Jake Garcia, and you broke him down what you saw in him on film a little bit last week. One of the things Coach Houston likes about him is his composure in chaos. How chaotic, is it for a quarterback, especially nowadays?
Oh, listen, in quarterback, when you're throwing the ball and you got bodies flying all around you as you're letting the ball go, that takes a special skill set to keep your eyes down the field and not look at the rush. And I think Garcia showed when he was at Miami, great pocket presence. He moved when he needed to. He stood in there and took hits and got the ball out when he needed to. He was pretty good at getting the ball out on time. I think he understand, and at least at Miami, he understood pass protections and when he was hot and how to get rid of the football and where to go with it. He definitely needed to improve from his time at Miami, but obviously he was really young at that time, and I certainly believe, he is capable of doing that. Again, that comes back to what we were talking about. I really think whoever's coaching the quarterback, that's that is the deal, man. You've got, because you don't have a long time with these guys now when they transfer in. You may only have them for 1 or 2 years, and you're not going to have them for a long time before they have to go play. So, how good are you as a quarterback coach at developing him and putting him in the right plays and putting him in the right system and having a relationship with him where you two trust each other as the play caller and the quarterback and can be effective? Because there's a lot more to coaching a quarterback than, just calling. Everybody has a good scheme. Everybody has a good offensive scheme in college football, or they wouldn't be there. But it's the meticulous things about coaching a quarterback. Knowing when they're struggling, knowing when they're not seeing the field, how to change your play calling to help them get back in rhythm. Just having an honest conversation with those guys that they feel good enough about you as a coach to tell you when they're struggling. Those things are really crucial for a good quarterback coach.
One thing that Mike Houston also says we're going to have at East Carolina is better special teams, just more dynamic special teams. So Andre Powell's been brought in and is able to be on the field. From what I understand, could be wrong on that, but point is, special teams coordinator. He's doing some other things within the coaching staff, but that whole thing's been turned over to him. I would assume just by his longevity and your longevity, you're aware of or have crossed paths with him at some point.
Yeah, and you've got a great reputation. And, special teams, can lose a game for you in one play. I mean, that's how vital that is. You can win games on special teams, but, it's like Steve Logan told me when he hired me as his offensive coordinator, and I never forgot this. He said, Doug, you may win a game every now and then as a play caller just because you're in a rhythm and you really do hit things really well. But most of the time, you can lose a game in a heartbeat as a play caller. And, man, you think about that for a second. He's right. He's exactly right. Yeah. You see it every weekend. Some guy makes the wrong call at the wrong time, and it's an interception or a fumble or a, loss on downs. And that's the big thing, is not making the mistakes. And that's how special teams is too. You can win some games with special teams, but, man, you can lose one in a heartbeat. So if you got a great special teams coach, that is a great advantage for any team.
Couple of interesting non-ECU games to talk about. Number one, Georgia against Clemson, who's in the top 15 and is a double-digit dog against Georgia. Is that game? Boy, Dabo is stubborn about his about the portal. I mean, he's not buying into it at all. And I think it's like Clemson has maybe been the last couple of years. They've got a lot of talent in a lot of spots, but the quarterback is a big question.
Again, that's just what we've been talking about, right? I really think it is the quarterback situation for them also. And it seems like there's a little bit of a power struggle between Dabo and the offensive coordinator, who's really running that thing or who has total control of it. And that's never good when you start having those issues. Somebody has to be the guy that's going to make the calls and deal with the quarterback and all those type of things. So you'll find out a lot about Clemson. I mean, everybody pretty much knows what Georgia is. They got the quarterback back. They're good on both sides of the ball. They've got culture, tradition, all those things. Clemson is the one to me that you'll find a lot out about in this game, because they were not a very good offensive football team last year. They struggled. There's no consistency. 1 week they'd be pretty good, next week not. Depending on who they were playing a little bit also. So I think you'll find that they're going to play a good defense this Saturday. So I think you'll find out, have they gotten the quarterback deal solved there? Do they know their identity? Because, again, that's kind of where you are is, I don't think they knew who they were last year. Are we a spread team? Are we a drop back team? What are we? And you got to figure those things out before you can be any good.
There's a lot of, some off the field stuff with Georgia. And I mean, for the number one team, they seem to be flying under the radar in a lot of ways. But you're right; they're a known entity. I don't know. It just seems like we don't talk about Georgia enough for some reason.
Yeah, and Kirby Smart probably likes it that way. They've got a great deal going there right now. There's no pressure on them. They're not getting all the hype and all those type of things. Nobody talks about them a lot, but they just keep winning games. So, until somebody in the SEC proves that they can beat Georgia, then Georgia's, going to be the team. And so far, nobody has really consistently proven that they can beat them the last couple of years.
Another game of Notre Dame and Texas A&M. Mike Elko's arrival in College Station. So, when you look at this matchup, what stands out?
Man, I love this game, Patrick. Because you've got Mike Elko, who I think is a phenomenal coach. What he did at Duke was amazing. He's been at Texas A&M before as an assistant, so he knew what he was walking into there. He probably already had a head start because of his familiarity there. But the matchup, because Riley Leonard is going to be the quarterback for Notre Dame, who played for Mike Elko at Duke, I think that's going to be the interesting deal. And I really believe Riley Leonard was maybe the best transfer quarterback in the portal last year, or whatever you want to call it. I think Notre Dame got a steal in Riley Leonard. And if he turns out to be what I think he can be, and Notre Dame wins this football game, you better watch out for them. They may be a national championship team. I think he can run, he can throw, he makes plays, he makes things happen. If he fits in that system at Notre Dame, and they've done a good job getting him acclimated, that to me, Notre Dame is the team to watch for this rest of the season.
Yeah, David Cutcliffe recruited him to Duke. I was talking about that with somebody today, and Riley Leonard heading to Notre Dame, I'm sure, to get the bag, as the kids say, with the NIL. Doug, let me ask you this. Doug Martin with us here. You've talked about the last 2 weeks about that acclimation time and how you can get your quarterback ready. I mean, ideally, it's a long relationship that you've had from the recruiting to the development to the play, and then further development as they play, the understanding the offense. We don't get that now. So, I don't know if there's a way to microwave this, but how do you accelerate that track? Do you simplify things? I mean, is it more you have to be flexible to what that quarterback, what their strengths are? I mean, how do you do that and make it a success?
Yeah, that's a great question, Patrick. It's really what we dealt with in the UFL, in the USFL, because we don't have quarterbacks every year, because those guys are looking to move on from us. It's like they may try to get the Canadian League, or they may try to get the NFL. So they come in. We don't have a long training camp. In fact, we only had 24 days of training camp before we had to play, and we didn't get spring practice and all those type of things. So the relationship between the quarterback coach and the quarterback was huge, and you had to be on the same page terminology wise. The quarterback has to be able to understand it, and there's got to be a level of trust there. I think what coaches underestimate about the quarterback coach, head coaches, when they're evaluating that position is you can't just be a standoffish guy as an offensive coordinator and quarterback coach. You've got to be welcoming. That quarterback has got to be trustworthy of you. He's got to want to come sit down in your office and talk with you, even if it's just not football. There's got to be a relationship there. And I think that's what a lot of people miss in coaching now, especially. I think it's the personality of whoever's coaching the quarterback or calling the plays, and being able to put your ego aside and working with that quarterback and understanding, okay, he's comfortable with this, he's not with that. I've got to do what he's comfortable with. And it's a fine line, because you still got to score points and win games. But if he's not comfortable with you and he's not comfortable with the system, then you're going to struggle.
Let me bring up a couple things on the local front. We touched on this a little bit last week, but you've got Grayson McCall at NC State. Will he be able to be Grayson McCall, or do you think Dave Doran is going to maybe revert back to the mean with him?
Yeah, I think it'd be interesting to see. I'm not as high on him maybe as a lot of other people were. He was in a very specific offense with Coastal Carolina. It was a lot different than what he's going to be in with NC State. So again, it'll be up to them how they've handled him and the system they put him in. Is he comfortable with it? athletically, I don't think he's like on par of like a Riley Leonard who can make a lot of plays, doing a lot of different things athletically. I think he understood that Coastal Carolina system really well. He had some good players around him, and they were better than a lot of teams they played. So it's not going to be that way now. Now, he does have tremendous talent around him at NC State. I'll say this, Dave Doran has done a phenomenal job of putting the football team together. I mean, offensively, defensively, talent-wise, whether it's Porter or whatever it is, they've got players on both sides of the ball. So they have a lot of good talent around the quarterback. Should take a little bit of pressure off of him, but that's going to be another interesting one to watch.
North Carolina could play 2 quarterbacks, possibly. That doesn't work, though, does it?
It doesn't. I don't care. You know, if somebody tells you, well, we've got 2, no, you don't. You don't have 1. I'm just telling you. And I've said it before, too, because, you know, you're trying to give kids some confidence, all those type of things. But if nobody separates himself as the number 1 quarterback, you've got a problem. And that sounds like UNC's got a problem right now, that nobody is separated away far enough to be named the starter and be the guy. You know, because when you start playing hot potato with that quarterback and he's in and he's out, those kids, they lose confidence. And then they start to think, okay, the first time I make a mistake, they're taking me out and they'll put the other guy in. That's what goes through his head. And so you lose trust there, and he loses confidence, and you can't get it back. East Carolina went through that last year. It's the same thing. You can't get those guys back once you pull them out and put somebody else in. You know, mentally they're fried. And so when you go into that year saying, well, we're going to play 2 guys because we think we got 2 of the good ones, that's a red flag.
All right, last thing for you here. Doug Martin with us here on the Patrick Johnson Show. The FBS and FCS oversight committees have recommended that college football move to a single offseason notification of transfer window, meaning the spring transfer period would be eliminated. The 30-day transfer window in December would be the only chance for FBS and FCS players to enter their name into the portal. For the past 2 years, the portal has opened for a 15-day window in April. The Division I Council will meet in October to determine if they'll adopt this proposal, and it would take effect in the 24-25 school year. So that means there would be no spring period this year, potentially. Yeah. I think coaches obviously like it, but we're going to get the pushback on the players' end of things, I'm sure. Does this happen, you think? Will it go into effect?
I think it will, because the coaches are just about unanimously, you know, unified on this one. When you're losing players in the spring portal, so what's happening is players are going through spring practice, and if things didn't go exactly like they want, they don't get their way, I'm going to the portal. Well, now you've got to try to rebuild your team as a coach going into the summer, and that's not fair to coaches or to the programs. So I really do think having one and doing it right after the season is how to do it. I mean, most players know after the season if they're not happy or if they're going to look for another opportunity, which is fine. I'm all for that. But I think it just needs to be one right after the season. That way everybody can make plans for what they're going to have, you know, next year for the season. And you go through spring practice, and once you get through spring practice, you know, okay, this is my team. These guys are all coming back. We don't have to worry about getting in the transfer portal again and all those type of things. And I think it'll make the players, you know, not to sound harsh, but it's going to make them grow up a little bit too. Because right now it's just like, you know, if I don't get my way, I'm going to leave. Well, what are we teaching young men if the first time they get a little bit of adversity, the idea is to quit and go to some other team? I hate that. I hate that as a coach. I hate that as a football fan. I hate that as a parent. There's nothing about that that's attractive to me. Sometimes you got to stay in there and be the backup quarterback or the backup linebacker and earn your way onto the field and learn how to fight through a little bit of adversity. That's what helps you grow up.
Hey, Doug, thanks a lot. Really appreciate it. Great to talk to you. Enjoy the games this week, and we'll talk to you next week.
Sounds great, buddy. Take care of yourself.
All right. Great to have Doug Martin on with us. Tell Me Lies, the Fleetwood Mac Tribute Band. Concert on the Common. In about 10 minutes, Coach Houston will be on the stage to introduce the band. And music will start at 6 o'clock. We're taking a break. We'll come back. we'll have some coordinator audio for you, but Philip the Ref Pilkington slaving away over a hot microphone today, literally, will be back in just a minute, and he will have, for you, ladies and gentlemen, a sports update and Pirate report.
Hi, I'm D.R. Alligood.
And I'm his daughter, Jessica.
For 11 years, we have built quality driveways and parking lots for both your residential and commercial needs. We also offer free on-site quotes to have your custom driveways built the way you want.
252-946-1227.
Hey Glenn, let's talk about a new program at Greenville Nissan.
Sure, sometimes bad things happen to good people, like credit hiccups.
Greenville Nissan just rolled out credit forgiveness.
If you've been making consistent car payments and you're tired of that high interest rate, this program is for you.
Get into a new Nissan with a manageable payment and keep that cash in the bank.
Come visit us at Greenville Nissan and drive your Nissan home today.
Hurry, this program ends September 3rd. Greenville Nissan, where we drive to serve.
Big tax credits are back. Get a 30% tax credit, up to $2,000 off your new Mitsubishi electric heat pump install. Let Comfort Master help you take advantage of the tax credits with a qualifying Mitsubishi electric ducted heat pump or non-ducted Mitsubishi electric mini splits. Mitsubishi electric mini splits are ideal for bonus rooms, garages, or sunrooms. If you need a new HVAC unit, call Comfort Master today.
Call Comfort Master. Call Comfort Master.
The best burgers around. Everyone loves a thick, juicy, and fresh burger. Tiebreakers does real burgers better than anybody. And don't forget about the cheese sticks, fresh salads, and more. So don't just go to any burger-themed restaurant chain. It's time to break the chain and eat local. Tiebreakers, burgers and sports at its best.
Go Pirates! Arrgh!
You know what the problem is with standard belts? Usually you have to choose between too tight or the opposite, too loose. But with Anson Belt and Buckle, you don't have to choose. We got rid of the holes and instead have a track system designed for micro-adjustability. That way you can enjoy a perfect fit every time. Anson Belt and Buckle. Find your perfect fit today.
Hi, I'm D.R. Alligood.
And I'm his daughter, Jessica.
For 11 years, we have built quality driveways and parking lots for both your residential and commercial needs. We also offer free on-site quotes to have your custom driveways built the way you want.
252-946-1227.
Your confidence makes everything look good. You see the world in vivid color, not black and white. Swing through your neighborhood Fantastic Sam's Cut in Color. And let our experienced stylists take you from everyday to extraordinary.
Fantastic Sam's hair salons are locally owned and operated. Our full-service salons are conveniently located in Goldsboro, Kinston, Greenville, New Bern, Jacksonville, and Calabash. Stop in today at Fantastic Sam's, where the possibilities are endless.
Philip Pilkington here with your 94.3 The Game Sports Flash update and Pirate report. Looking over to the NFL, where some former Pirates earned roster spots today. Julius Wood, who was cut by the Dallas Cowboys yesterday, was claimed off waivers by the Tennessee Titans. He will make their 53-man roster. Also, Jalen Johnson was waived by the Chargers yesterday, but has been invited back to be part of their 17-man practice squad. Former Panthers wide receiver Terrence Marshall, who was cut yesterday by the team despite being a second-round pick back in 2021, was signed by the San Francisco 49ers. It is still unclear as to whether or not and if how long they will have Brandon Ayuk for this season. Moving on to the quarterback room, the Pittsburgh Steelers have announced that Russell Wilson will be their starter for Week 1. North Carolina forward Zayden High has been removed from the team's basketball roster after there are rumors of incidents behind closed doors with a female classmate. He appeared in 23 games last season as a freshman. That'll do it for your 94.3 The Game Sports Flash Update and Pirate Report. We're going to take a time out here on the Patrick Johnson Show, and on the other side we will hear from John David Baker and Blake Harrell, their comments ahead of East Carolina's season opener against the Spartans of Norfolk State.
We're down to the final days of our summer sales event at Greenville Toyota.
Lease new RAV4s, $319 a month. Test drive the redesigned 2025 Camry, all with our advantage.
It's your last chance to save at Greenville Toyota.
The best burgers around. Everyone loves a thick, juicy, and fresh burger. Tiebreakers does real burgers better than anybody. And don't forget about the cheese sticks, fresh salads, and more. So don't just go to any burger-themed restaurant chain. It's time to break the chain and eat local. Tiebreakers, burgers and sports at its best.
Everybody loves tiebreakers.
Storm season is approaching. North Carolina weather can damage your roof, and before long, a small leak can turn into a big problem. Your home is one of your biggest investments, so protect it with Wells Home Improvements.
We work with all insurance companies for a hassle-free roof installation experience. Call us today and get 10% off your roof installation when you mention this commercial.
252-227-8403 or visit us online at wellshomeimprovements.com. Wells Home Improvements. Local, honest, dependable.
Let's go! Woo! Woo! Yeah! Football time!
Set the tone. Kyle, tie your shoes, tie your shoes. Yeah, good job.
Woo! Yeah!
Grab a Pepsi Wild Cherry and get wild.
Summer is here, and Sawyer's Fun Park is having a toddler summer special. From 10 a.m. to 12 noon, Monday through Friday, Sawyer's has a $10 2-hour unlimited pass for ages 2 to 4. That's one toddler and one parent for just $10 every weekday morning. Sawyer's Fun Park summer hours are Monday through Thursday from 10 to 8, Fridays and Saturdays from 10 to 9, and Sundays from 12 to 8. Book your tickets online at SawyersFunPark.com and beat the heat this summer at Sawyer's Fun Park.
Other restaurants claim their food is fresh and fast, but are they friendly? At Moore's, you're treated like family the minute you walk into their doors. With locations in Winterville, New Bern, Swansboro, Morehead City, and Jacksonville. We've been practicing what we preach since 1945. At Moore's, our barbecue is slow cooked and smoked over real wood daily until it's so tender it's falling off the bone. Combined with our fresh chicken, cooked to order seafood, and homemade fixins, we're sure you'll agree. If it's not Moore's, it's less.
Hurry, the summer savings event is coming to an end. Don't miss your chance.
Enjoy your summer in a new Corolla for just $219 a month or a Highlander for only $399 a month. Got a trade? Get cash for it or trade for a new Toyota.
Hurry in to Greenville Toyota today.
Download the new IBX Media app now and get the show for your ears and eyes.
Doesn't it look great on me?
This is the Patrick Johnson Show on 94.3 The Game.
Welcome back. Nice to have you with us. Don't forget, tomorrow we'll be on at 4 o'clock, and that'll be our new time on Thursdays, 4 p.m., right before the Steve Logan Show, which premieres for a new season tomorrow. The Logan Zone, 5 o'clock right here tomorrow, but you'll have the great P-Man from 4 until 5. Tomorrow. We'll have Coach Logan on with us Friday, by the way. He'll join us for the Patrick Johnson Show. Also, Armin Katayan will be with us. He is one of the co-authors of a brand new book, The Price, What It Takes to Win in College Football's Era of Chaos. So Armin Katayan will be with us. He and John Talty writing that book. Armin will be on the Patrick Johnson Show on Friday, so looking forward to that. Let's hit some cuts now. Audio from earlier today. These are the coordinators from ECU and some of their comments. Let's go with Blake Harrell and Cut 3 Pilk scouting Norfolk State.
Yeah, I saw two tailbacks that were really good. We call them Thunder and Lightning. 13 obviously took the third play of the game to the house for 82 yards. And I thought, last year I thought 33 was the bigger back. He was the bigger back, but better back, more of a downhill runner. 13 always balanced it. But the other night, 13 was between the tackles, makes some really good cuts, and getting downhill. I thought Jalen Daniels is a very efficient quarterback there the other night, 7 of 9. Worked the ball down the field, has a strong arm. Started out in South Carolina. I think he has the same quarterback trainer as Spencer Rattler from California, Arizona, out that way. Played JUCO last year, so he's played some football. Obviously that was game one for them. the old saying is, you make your biggest improvement from game 1 to game 2. So they're going to clean some things up. I'm sure we'll see a different football team than we saw on tape and on the TV last Saturday. So, I think they got a very good football team coming in here. And, we got to freaking play our tails off to get the W.
All right, and asked about the advantage of Norfolk State having played already. Coach Harrell.
I tell you what, going into game 1, I think there's always been over my career like two things. Game 1 is scary. Like when you're a special teams coordinator, you never know who can, new punt system or new punt return or new kickoffs, what they're going to do on that. And then going into game 1 as a DC, like if you're facing a new opponent or a new OC for the first time, he hasn't called it. In some ways that was Michigan last year. We were facing a new OC. It was just, the guy was suspended, but you know kind of what they were going to do. You didn't think they were going to get far away from it. But going to this game, all summer we're looking at Alcorn State. We're looking at what he did at the JUCO, those type of things, watching Norfolk State film. So you're watching about a 40-game study. And now you kind of, okay, this is what they did last Saturday night. That's kind of like this section of games. So we can kind of hone in on that and kind of focus more on those details.
We have one more from Blake Harrell here, and that is when he was asked if they keep up with how many snaps everyone has played in an effort to keep guys fresh.
Yeah, and we've always did that. We keep up with stops is what we keep up with, but we also keep up with, hey, how many snaps does so-and-so play? Hey, Devin King, he's out there for 10 straight snaps. Let's make sure we get him a break, make sure he's good to go in the fourth quarter. And I think that's what we've always done a good job of here is rolling guys, developing guys, 20, 22 guys, 18 guys are playing in the game. And I see that happening again this year, especially early in the season. I think it's supposed to be 90-something degrees at kickoff, which is awesome. Our kids need to embrace that, a toughness thing, that, hey, we're going to be tougher than the other football team, and we're going to roll more guys. We're going to wear them out. And in the second half, we have the advantage because we're still fresh and we're ready to play. So I think, it helps on a lot of fronts with that. It helps, one, win the ball game, which is most important, keeping guys fresh in the second half. Two, and it helps develop young guys. I mean, Zakai Barker, he's going to get his first start. But Zakai Barker, you're going to see out there on Saturday, and if he continues to play the way he has in practice, it won't look like a first start. It'll look like a veteran player out there. And that's because he's developed over the years, played here, played there, and has some game snaps before.
All right, one more from Coach Harrell. He talked about the importance of making adjustments in the game and adapting as the season goes on.
You always change and adapt based off your personnel. If you have some really strong pass rushers, you better adapt to that. If you have a really strong secondary, you better adapt to that. Or if you're trying to cover guys up, you better move and shake around. And I think as a coordinator, you always got to stay. You can't just go repeat and rinse, repeat and wash, all that kind of stuff. You got to keep developing. You got to keep growing as coaches, as a package, as a system, what we do. So we got to continue to do that in the off season, and we have. And there's some things that we haven't done lately that I think we can get back to and kind of, hey, remember what we did back in 2020 or 21 or 2019, and we can go back to those things. So, and our personnel may allow us to be a little bit differently as well, and I think we'll see that on Saturday night and throughout the first 3 or 4 games.
Defensive coordinator Blake Harrell. Let's hear now from the new OC, John David Baker, excited to finally get things going.
I'm definitely to that point. I think our kids are too. We're tired of talking about it and ready to just go do it. They're excited. They've had a great 2 days of practice. I don't think we're overly anxious. I think we're just ready to go. I'm really excited to go see them. Just go put it on the grass on Saturday.
JDB in Cut 9 talks about the conversations and anything specific that he and Jake Garcia have talked about prior to the opener.
No, that's just, that's why, that's part of the reason why he's the guy, is because he's just cool, calm, collected every single day. He's never too high, never too low, just even keel. And I don't expect any different on Saturday. We tried to put him in as many game-like situations, whether it be a scrimmage or a practice setting, and he responded the same way every time. And so I don't expect any different on Saturday. Is he probably going to have a few more juices flowing? Probably so. But I bet after that first clap, he'll be just fine.
All right, JDB asked about having some film already on Norfolk State.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like Coach has talked about. There's advantages and disadvantages to it. It's an advantage to us in the sense that we get to see, not only some scheme things, but personnel-wise. They've moved some personnel around And I think they've upgraded at a lot of spots personnel-wise. I thought they flew around. Their guys play hard. They play sound. I was really impressed with them on Saturday, or this past Saturday, and just looking at them as a whole. Like, we got to go play, and this is going to be a dogfight now because they got a good squad.
Pilk, do we have time to get 11 in?
Yeah, I say so.
All right, the importance of not having mental errors.
Yeah, that's huge. Not only this game, but every game. That's something we harp on a ton. Is just we can't beat ourselves. This game is hard enough to move the ball and score points. Just having the ability to stay on track, stay in front of the chains. Those type of things are huge, especially in this first game. And, unfortunately, sometimes it's going to happen. And it's really how you respond to it, making sure that we don't turn one bad play into two. And that's just something that we got to coach our guys through, and they'll be good.
All right, great stuff there. Thank you. Thanks to Doug Martin for being on with us. Tomorrow we'll be on at 4 o'clock. Remember that. 4 o'clock on Thursday starting tomorrow. Brian North from News 12, WCTI's Blitz. Justin Bear with ECU Marketing will be on with us. Steve Logan tomorrow at 5 o'clock. Then we'll have Coach Logan on Friday, so he'll join us then throughout the season. And Armin Katayan will also be on. Have a great rest of your afternoon and evening. Stay cool, particularly you, Pilk, and intern Brandon. And we'll catch everybody in the morning on Talk of the Town at 7. Back here at 4 tomorrow on The Patrick Johnson Show.